We are live. We're going to go ahead and get started. I am so excited about this collaboration that I have today. But for anybody new here, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Margaret Brown, but you know me as Maggie, the substitute teacher. And usually I am welcoming you all into my struggle cooking class. I always say I am not a professional chef. I've never been to culinary school, and I am not a professional YouTuber. But I have been chronicling my health and wellness journey and my love of food with you all. I have been working for several years with a metabolic specialist, and her name is Nancy Masoud. And she is a dear friend and person in my life because I am now managing and maintaining an 80 plus pound weight loss with at least 20 more to go. And I have done that by getting tested for food sensitivities and completely changing the relationship that I have with food. And so I asked Nancy to come onto my channel and tell you all about what in the world I've been doing. And I am so glad she has agreed. So without further ado, I am going to introduce you all to Nancy Masoud. Everybody, please say hello to Nancy.
Hello! Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm so excited. This is
I am beyond excited to have you here. It is an incredible honor. Like, if I would just scream if I could. So, everybody, come on in. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on Twitter. Everybody is saying hello, Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
I'm
So,
here.
yes, so Nancy is with us today for an hour and a half. We're going to talk to Nancy. She's going to introduce her team. Here's how we're going to break down the time that we have. So, for this first 30 minutes, I'm going to walk you all through my personal experience, how I got to meet Nancy, what I've been doing, how I learned about food sensitivities, and Nancy's going to talk about my specific experience as it relates to her business. She is the owner and metabolic specialist and naturopath and all these wonderful things for Locked in Wellness. Locked in Wellness is a company here in the Atlanta area, but she does take clients all over the globe. I have dropped her link in the description and I will also put it in the chat. If you like what you hear today, please reach out, call the office, and get your free consultation so she can give you specifics as it relates to you. Uh,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, the first 30 minutes, we'll talk about my experience. The second 30 minutes, I want Nancy to talk about her office and the services that she provides, give some general advice or, whatever she wants to share with you all about the work that she does, because it's so much more than what I have experienced. And then the last 30 minutes will be whatever questions that you all have. Please go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll use the balance of time to answer questions. So, without further ado, Nancy, would you like to introduce yourself and let us know whatever you want to share before we get started?
Yes. Well, first, I'm so excited to be here today and be able to talk to everyone and share this. I know some people message me like, "Oh my gosh, are you going to be with Maggie today?" I said, "Yes, finally, it's working." So I'm so grateful for you, Maggie. Thank you so much for helping others. Also, you definitely been a good motivator for a lot of people that I've been working with. And your success has proven itself. You look amazing. Definitely. So you know me, I always tell you, I'm so thrilled about you and how how good you feel right now. Your energy is so amazing. So thank you so much for sharing and being a part of this because it definitely gives hopes to a lot of people. Um, and of course, as she said, I'm a metabolic specialist. So my focus here, yes, I do. I'm licensed and certified in weight management, and I work with that as well. But I like the idea of incorporating weight with health. It's not about just losing the weight, it's how healthy you can be to lose the weight. We the my focus is working in the inside before the outside. And that's where my journey started. I always wanted to be that person to look at at someone and say, you know what? I understand you have, you want to lose, whatever X amount of pounds to lose, but let's look at why you're here. Why you're coming in to lose the weight? What caused the weight gain? And that's the puzzle. That's when people puzzle. They don't know. We can blame everything. We can blame COVID. We can blame so much other components here, but it's not true. Something happened in the body that caused that inflammation to increase to get the mutation of fat cells to start to, of course, become a present in our bodies. So, and that's what we look at. I look at ways of reducing inflammation in the body so that we can reduce the mutation of those fat cells. And this is where we start off. This is the first step in this journey, of course, in anybody's journeys, of course. So,
Absolutely. I am so excited. Okay, you guys, so you have seen Nancy, you have heard from her. I'm going to be very transparent with you all and walk you through my experience because a lot of you all who are new to me, I've started my YouTube channel. It's only about 9 months old, so a lot of you all have seen this version of Maggie, but I am going to share my screen and I am going to show you all a photo of Maggie that you may not have seen before. Let me get this going. All right, so I'm going to walk you guys through a little bit of my life experience and how I came to meet Nancy. We all start somewhere, and I come from a small nuclear family, mom, dad, me, and my brother. Everybody is average size, but growing up, I always had the weight problem. And I just thought I was that chubby kid, plus size, big boned, all of the things that we call them. And I just carried the weight throughout all of my life, my childhood. It didn't stop me from doing anything. You got married, got kids, traveled, all of that. But as I approached 40, the weight problem started to turn into a health problem for me. And if you guys have been on my channel, you've heard me say I used to be pre diabetic, I used to have elevated cholesterol, and I used to have borderline blood pressure. And it was one of those things where I would go to the doctor every year and they would have that conversation about the BMI. And it was a struggle for me. Like a lot of you all, I would lose weight to get in a dress or for a certain occasion, and then it would come back up and plus more. But what really started to bother me is I was in a lot of pain, and I just thought that it was getting older. You all know I just had a birthday. I'm 47 now, but I'm older, but I'm not old. And I remember vividly when I would get up and I would stand up for the first time or get out of the car, I had so much pain in my joints, I kind of had to stand there and shake it out. I remember having to take multiple pain pills a day just to make it through the day. And I didn't like where it was going. So, how did I come to meet Nancy? So before the pandemic, now I work from home and I work for a technology company. But before then, I was an executive with the Coca-Cola company. Great experience. And I had a coworker there, Joanne. You know who you are. Thank you so much. Like a lot of us, when you see somebody who's lost weight before, one of the first things is, you look amazing. What did you do? Right. And I remember asking her that, and she said something I had never heard before. She said, I got my gut health checked. I was like, what is that? So she told me about this interesting, doctor that she went to see. And I made a phone call and I said, I got to hear about this. I've tried so many diets. And like I always say, they all work. But if you don't maintain what you did to lose the weight, you're going to gain it back plus more. So I made the phone call that some of you all have already made. I see Lisa's already scheduled for her consultation. So I'm so excited. I Yes, so excited. So I made the call and I went to see Nancy, and she took one look at me and she said something that nobody else had ever said before. She said, "You're not big boned. You're not plus size. You just have a lot of inflammation." And I had never heard that before. So I'm going to pause at that point, Nancy. I want you to talk about, if you can, what is
Cool.
inflammation for those of us who had never heard about it before, and then I'll continue with what we did after that.
Yes, absolutely. And I still remember that conversation with you. And you looked at me like, what? And yes, so inflammation is pretty much the enemy of the body, it's usually triggered, about 90% of that is triggered by foods, foods you put in your body. Which, of course, it could be healthy foods that you're putting in your body that is a trigger to that inflammatory response. But when we start looking at inflammation, inflammation feeds fat cells. So when there's a higher level of inflammatory response, then there's a higher risk for fat cells to grow. And that is what we look at. That is the main cause of a lot of people's issues. It is the number one cause of every disease we know of out of there. Whether it's heart disease, cholesterol, diabetes, you name it. I mean, there's so many studies out there that has proven this actually. And of course, yes, and yeah, weight gain is linked to that for sure. We look at insulin resistance. We look at all these different things. Well, there's a trigger. There's a question mark. Why there's a lot of inflammation? Well, I'm sure everybody, read about it, heard about it, whether it's on TV, commercials, whether somebody so and so talks about inflammation. Oh, I have so much inflammation in my knees and my joint. Maggie said something that when she wakes up in the morning, she was stiff and in pain, and sometimes she had to take an anti-inflammatory medication to help her move on in her day. Well, what she's trying to do is reduce as much as inflammation around the joints to help her mobility or range of motion. Well, that's what we do, but instead of using medication as a lead or an aid to that, we use food.
Mm.
So we look at what kind of food causes an inflammatory response at a personal level. Everybody's different. And then when we do that, then we address that with the person and we do elimination diet. Now, the elimination, you can go and do, I had one person yesterday made a comment and said, well, I've always tried to eliminate one thing out of the list that you gave me. I never thought I would have to eliminate all of it to feel better.
Hmm.
Okay. So I said, Stu, he's like, so that's why I didn't feel good when I did eliminate. So he was on the right track, but he was at 10% of the right track. But when we took all of that list off, he felt amazing. He mentioned something about, wow, I have six pack that I did not know I had. Well, there you go. Yes, because again, that inflammation was hovering over that he did not think that he was going to, of course, he did not think he had muscle. So we all do. We all do have that. So, but that's the main trigger of inflammation. It is an enemy to our body. Yes, we know that in many, many different ways. And one of the main common one is weight gain. Unfortunately, the higher the inflammation, the more risk for that.
Absolutely. So we have the issues on the inside, sometimes the pain that only we feel, and then we have the weight gain that's on the outside that everybody can see. So let's pick up where we left off, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what happened with me when I was in Nancy. So Maggie is in the office with Nancy, looking like I look in the pink shirt. Thank you so much for the super chat, Money Bass. And so Nancy said, "You're not big boned. You're not plus size. You have a lot of inflammation." I had never heard that before. And I said, "Okay, so what do we do now?" So Nancy said, "We're going to test you for food sensitivities." I had never had that before. And this was a two-part test that we did in her office. So she took this long, like Q-tip looking cotton swab thing, and I opened my mouth, and she just kind of swirled on the inside of my cheek, right? Like a DNA kind of test. And then she
Mhm.
put it in this tube and in this bag. And I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever. And then she said, "Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of hair samples." Now, at this point, I was like, what are you talking about? You're touching my hair, but not a lot, just a few little pieces from the back. And Nancy's going to tell you what those tests do. But I'm going to show you guys, thank you guys all for coming in. I'm going to show you guys what happened after that. So Nancy took my DNA from my cheek and from my hair, and there's a reason she takes both, and she'll explain. And she said, I'm going to send off your results and they will come back in about a week and I'll call you and we'll go over everything. And I left her office thinking, what kind of voodoo witchcraft is this? This is the weirdest thing. I was expecting any of the other, I don't know, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, all the stuff that I've tried before, but this one was unique to me. So I'm going to pull up a little bit of my test results so you guys can see the first one that I did. There's a lot of detail in here. I'm just going to zoom in so you guys can kind of see. Let's see here. All right. So if you see the food sensitivities here, I was shocked. And I know it's kind of hard to read, but you can see chicken, dairy, citrus, cheese, gluten, all of this stuff. I was panicking. One of the things that Nancy said that struck me is a lot of times it can be even healthy food that we're eating that is still causing this inflammatory response. So we're up to the point where I get my test results, I get a call from Nancy, and now what do we do? But Nancy, let us know about the testing and what happened after that.
Oh yeah. So we did a cheek swab to, like she said, to pull DNA and test. And the testing was to look at sensitivities, what her body's reacting to in her gut. Now, there's a big difference between allergies and sensitivities. Of course, allergies must be tested in blood. Sensitivities can be tested either in hair or swab. Well,
Mm.
sensitivities is it's a localized reaction in the gut area only, which causes a leaky gut. I'm sure you guys, a lot of people heard of the word leaky gut. I know it's out there. People talk about it all the time. Well, this is pretty much what your body has a resistance to that causes your intestinal lining to leak that food or the smaller particles of that food into the bloodstream to reject while the larger particle pass through. Well, that is what we call defined in a simple words leaky gut. Well, that process causes the inflammation that we're talking about. So we're looking to prevent any food that can maybe cause or can cause leakage or leaking from the intestinal lining to the bloodstream. And that is what we're doing. So,
Wow, that is incredible. And so, if you guys heard what Nancy said, she had a client yesterday who had a list of foods, but he didn't know the whole list. And he was trying to eliminate some of the foods, but not all of the foods. And once he eliminated all of them, immediately he felt better. So, let's go back down the journey of Maggie because I had a very similar experience. So, okay. Now, again, Nancy is calling me with my test results, and this is the Maggie before. I want to be really share it with you all so you guys can see. So, even at my larger size, she calls me and she tells me, you've got this list of foods. And honestly, you all, I was mad because not only were some of these foods foods that I liked, some of them were foods that I was eating every day. And when she tells me, okay, you're sensitive to citrus, you're sensitive to chicken, you're sensitive to coffee, you're sensitive to dairy, you're sensitive to gluten, I literally remember thinking, what in the heck am I supposed to eat? I can't eat anything. Well, I went on the elimination diet. Once I had the information, I had a decision to make. And this is for all of us. Once you know what your body can tolerate well and what your body can't tolerate well, it's really up to you at that point. Am I going to do anything about it? So I remember thinking, well, I've tried everything else. Might as well try this. I had a little attitude about it. I'm not going to lie. So I came home and I remember I took a picture and I showed it to Nancy. Y'all know I'm a boy mom times two teenage sons, and I've taught them both how to cook. And besides, kids come in the kitchen all the time. I cleared out one shelf in the fridge and I cleared out one shelf in the pantry, and I literally labeled it mom's food. I got rid of all the stuff that was on my no-no list and I started buying the stuff that was approved for me, hence the substitutions. That's why I'm your substitute teacher. So in the beginning, for me, I went from dairy to like almond milk, citrus, excuse me, to eating apples, turkey instead of chicken. I started making these food substitutions. Now, 48 hours after I made the food substitutions, I vividly remember I told you guys I used to wake up and I had so much knee pain and back pain and all of this stuff. I remember getting up and walking to the bathroom like we all do first thing in the morning and just hopping along like nothing hurt because nothing hurt. And I stopped in my tracks and I was like, wait a minute. My mind is playing tricks on me. Now I'm still at my large size. I haven't lost any weight in 48 hours, maybe a little bit of water, but I was shocked that I was pain free. And if you all remember, I had carried this weight all of my life. Unlike some people who were small and then maybe put on baby weight, I was always a big girl, so I thought. And so I carried the weight because it wasn't a problem for me until it became a problem for me. And I remember not feeling any pain and not needing to reach for my pain pills. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. I'm still bigger, but I'm out of pain. I said, something's not right. My mind's playing tricks on me. But I continued on. I was eating on Nancy's, she gave me a meal plan with different recipes and different things to try. And I'm being very, very strict on my elimination diet because now I know if I eat this, it's going to cause inflammation. If I eat that, it won't. So, what ended up happening for me is I started losing the weight. Of course, that's what I wanted, right? But more importantly for me, I was out of pain. I wasn't taking pain medication because that's not going to be good long term. And here is where it finally clicked for me. I started with Nancy in January of 2020. I know I'm going slow, but I'm never going back. And I remember telling her, I've got this Valentine's Day cruise planned. It's already booked and paid for. I want to go next month. And she said, go, have a good time. And I remember thinking, wait a minute, she's a little too like excited for me to go. And so I went all of January and I think I'd lost maybe 10 or so pounds. And I was looking forward to this cruise and it was just a little weekend cruise. And I went on the cruise and I ate everything that was on my no list because I was on vacation and y'all know I still love to eat. I had the dairy, I had the gluten, I had the sugar, I had everything. The first day I woke up on that cruise, all of the pain came back. I got up out of the bed, I was stiff, I was achy. I didn't pack my pain pills because I had stopped taking them. I was so mind blown. I said, oh my goodness, this is real. Of course, overnight, you're not going to put all that weight back, but the pain came back. And that was the turning point for me. So I always tell you guys, I eat to stay pain free, and the weight has come off as a byproduct. So now I have the information. I know if I'm going to splurge, I'm going to pay for it. And that's what gets me right back on track. And for the first time in my life, I know I'm never going to go back to how I used to be because I feel amazing. So that is kind of the story of Maggie. And my whole YouTube channel has really been me experimenting with recipes, making food that I want to eat using ingredients that I have to eat. So, Nancy, I'm going to let you share anything else about. I'm going to pull up my other food list so people can see anything else you remember about my journey, and then we're going to transition into the second part.
Oh, absolutely. So yes, I remember the day when she was like, "Wait, you're telling me I can't have coffee anymore? You're telling me I can't do this anymore? You're telling me I can't do that?" And I said, "Listen, try, just follow it as much as you can. Let's see." And I knew the minute she does, avoid these foods that are on her no-no list, as you can see here, she's gonna feel better. That's her motivation. I don't need to do anything else. So, and that was so true. When she went on vacation, I said, of course, have fun. You have to enjoy life. But when she started feeling the pain, she made that choice not to go way overboard with that. And I always talk about moderation, right? We all like to have fun. We all like to celebrate. It's the season of celebration. We all in it. We all need to enjoy it, but with moderation. If I feel symptoms, I have to be careful. Then I know I draw back. I don't go very effusive about that. So those are things that definitely make a huge difference in motivation. Again, looking at the inside versus the outside. Maggie said something really important. She said the second, third day I was pain free, but that doesn't mean I lost all the weight or I lost any weight, but she was pain free. That's the inside versus the outside that we're talking about. So that's the important part of this. So yes, of course, does this help with brain fog? Of course it does. Does it help with energy? Of course it does. Sleep. Okay, we all need our sleep. Sometimes we have issues. There's interruptive sleep. It's a common denominator here. A lot of people come in and one of their main concerns is not getting enough sleep. Well, because A, maybe their body, their brain is active, there's stress involved, adrenals are involved, cortisol is involved, stress hormones are involved. There's a lot involved in that. Well, yes, it can cause for you to have issues or trouble sleeping or interrupted sleep. So we look at all of these aspects of parts of that that could be the cause for you to not be able to lose the weight or maintain the weight. Now, I have some people come in that don't need to lose the weight. They're already thin enough. And some people need to gain weight. And
Oh,
that is also another part of this, So I can't tell you how many people come in and their doctor's like, you got to put on some pounds, some weight. You need help. And believe it or not, it's harder to gain weight than lose weight. It is a lot.
really?
Yes, it's a lot harder. So of course, yeah, we have to help that because again, part of gaining weight is gaining muscle. It's not about just
Mm,
putting fats in because again,
right.
it's going to turn into bad cholesterol, and so there's more parts, a lot of other parts that it gets involved in this. But that's not what we want. We want, the good, healthy weight that is sustainable and helps you feel better. Um, and that's what we target. Yes, of course. There's so many things. We look at a lot of things here at LockedIn Wellness, not just weight loss, of course.
Absolutely. So I'm going to wrap up my portion by just sharing with you guys. We did have a question and I'm going to answer. If you guys have questions for Nancy, go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll bring them up on the screen. There was a question from Shannon about brain fog. And I will say this. So Nancy's answered it, but I will absolutely say you do not know how bad you feel when it's been your whole life until you start feeling better. We've heard Kirk Anderson say that. So, he's another YouTuber with a fitness channel. So, yes, when I look back at my documents from Nancy, I had joint pain, knee, hip. I had low energy. I was snoring. I had a CPAP machine. There was all this stuff that I just accepted as part of my life that went away when I made changes. Like I shared with you all, I used to have elevated cholesterol, borderline blood pressure, and I was pre diabetic. All of that is normal now without any medication. Of course, the vain part of us looks at the weight, because that's what you see first. But even down to my prescription on my glasses, hasn't changed, from year to year. So many things have gotten better. So I'll show you guys two test results, and then we're going to let Nancy talk about the kind of tests that she does and why she takes the swab and the hair samples. So I've been tested multiple times, my choice because I'm slow, but also because some of the foods that I was sensitive to will fall off over time. And you guys have heard me say it's not what you eat from time to time. It's what you eat all of the time. So when you go through the Locked in Wellness program, you'll get your own personalized results, but I'm just showing you guys mine. So you can see here, you'll get some type of document that like this that will be color coded to show what you are mildly reactive to, moderate, or severe. And you can see here as I scroll through, and I was actually happy because this was very colorful when I first started, but things have started to fall off. But it will show you the types of foods that you are sensitive to. The things that have been consistent on my list, unfortunately for me, have been dairy. have been gluten, and then of course sugar. We'll talk about that. None of us need the amount of sugar that we eat. So that's why you guys hear me say I eat a sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten-free diet, because if I stick with that for the most part, I feel great and I'm right on track. The last thing that I will show you all, and then we'll let Nancy talk about the tests. She also did a mineral test on me that I had never heard of before. And this test was maybe from the hair samples, but basically showing, let's see if I can show you guys. Oh, did I close? Oh, basically showing you all, second, where is it? Chrome tab. There it is. Mhm. Showing the types of minerals that are in my system that are out of whack. Now, I don't know anything about elements and toxic elements and whatnot, but Nancy wanted me to show you all this from my results. It's very scientific. So at this point, Nancy, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you could talk a little bit about the test that you did, the cheek swab, the hair sample, and the test results while I work on this.
Yeah. So we have, so we do multiple tests. The first test that we talked about was the cheek swab, which is for food sensitivity. So we can look at the resistance of foods in the bodies, but everybody's, of course, is going to be different. Sometimes we add more to foods, less. It depends on the person and their situation as well. And then the second test, another test we do is the mineral trace element testing, which tells us about certain elements that can be a part of the journey, okay? Or the cause of the either weight gain, fatigue, depending on the concern that one person comes in. Somebody comes in and says, all right, I have gained 20 pounds in the past, 3 months. I've felt lethargic. I've felt something is off. I'm not sleeping well. Well, the mineral test will help me figure out what could have been the issue, what could have caused that main problem there. So, because I can see those minerals and see the imbalances of the minerals that can be a trigger to that as well. So, I can look at adrenal activity with that, hydration, inflammation, water retention. We look at brain activity. We look at heavy metals because heavy metals are very, very important in this part of this journey. So we definitely look at heavy metals because heavy metals can interrupt. Some people can have certain heavy metals that can cause brain fog, that can also have a major impact on their mental health because we know certain metals can be a trigger to that, and so on. So there's so much involved in that as well. We also look if Maggie can pull up her test result and if she's okay with sharing that. But we also can rate the metabolism at the beginning of at the beginning when we do the first test, the first assessment. So we look at the metabolic rate for Maggie, the other one, Maggie, the trace, the element one. So you'll see on hers, it will show her metabolism based on her her results. So with that, with whatever she comes in, we will be able to see because some people come in and say, I think my metabolism is slow. Yeah, if you scroll to the first page, you see on the right top hand corner where it says metabolic type. So Maggie's was slow one, which is slow one is the slowest you can go. Okay, this is like the bottom, rock bottom of metabolism. Slow one is the bottom, and then it goes to slow two, slow three, slow four, and then we have fast one, fast two, fast three, fast four. So there's a lot of different levels that we look at. So hers for Maggie, it was slow one, so we knew her metabolism took a major impact, but hers was major impact because of other components that it was, and what we looked into or analyzed in that testing. So we worked on that first to help her metabolism. I can't say, well, yeah, Maggie, your metabolism is slow. Let's go ahead and stimulate metabolism. Well, that's not going to help her because that's going to impact her thyroid that's been already impacted by life in general. So there's so much that we have to target and look into to make sure that when we do the proper planning for Maggie or whoever the person is, we are doing it in a healthy manner so that at at the long run she can actually see the impact and the good results of that. And that is what we're targeting. Okay, and then we'll retest at the end and we'll show the differences. Of course, we will look at the analysis again and say, all right, look at this comparison. You were here and you're here now, and look at the differences. Of course, yes, you can tell us by symptoms. Of course, you can tell us, oh my gosh, yes, I feel the best I've ever felt in my life, and then all that is great news. But I also like to show you on your own DNA how the changes has happened. So we look at these things as well. Now, water retention is huge. A lot of people think they drink enough, or they think they drink the right proper amount of water or the proper kind of water, but sometimes they need help because their body cannot process, or the body cannot store enough water inside the cells. So there's so much. They can be acidic, and there's so many different levels into this. And that's why I said I've had a lot of people come in with the high metabolism, but they're here for weight loss. Okay. Well, it's not the problem is not their metabolism. They got the metabolism. They're perfect. People pay
Mm,
money for that metabolism, but they're still here for weight loss. So how is that even possible? Oh yeah, yeah. So again, that goes back to where the core of what we're looking at here with the food sensitivity, the mineral testing, and then also we do another test here that is called VIA, which measures the cellular health. It's called phase angle, which tells me the health of the cell. If where is the cells and how much out of that cell we target reactance and resistance of the cell, and it's just a random cell that we target. And we look at, all right, well, bone, muscle mass, bone density. We look at, cellular health. We look at hydration. There's so much also addressed in that one as well. And that is just to see, all right, so do you have enough, muscle? Or how much, where's the muscle? How good the cells are? Do we need to treat the cells? Are you hydrated enough to be able to lose the weight? And so on. And those are things that we target to see so we can see a bigger picture of why you're here. Then
mm.
we plan accordingly. Handing out a sheet of paper saying, all right, do this, add this, take this, it's not going to help.
Yeah.
There's it's more personalized. We gotta get into the core of each person. Everybody's different. So, and that's why Maggie's plan is never going to be the same as my plan or anybody else's plan. So everybody's so different when it comes to the testing and the analysis. So, and that's why it's this this actually program. It's not one size fits all. It is very personalized and very individualized to the person that we're testing and working with. So, and that is what makes it, I think, very important to a lot of people. So,
Absolutely. As someone who has struggled with weight, it has finally given me the information that I need to attack my issues. I always say I support whatever works for everybody. I'm just being transparent and sharing with you all. I see lots of great questions coming in. We're going to get to your questions in the last half hour. But I just wanted to, I'll just call them out so you guys know that we have them. We have a question about how truckers can speed up metabolism. So I'm sure anybody who's sedentary, y'all know I work from home. Nancy called me this morning, I was working out. So we'll get to that one. Lisa had a question about did eczema clear up? That was on my list. I had skin issues. So we'll talk about that. There's a question about if you don't live in America, how does that work? So Nancy will talk about that. Chelsea had a question about does your metabolism affect your mental health? Can that be a factor with anxiety and depression? So for this half hour, what I would like to do is I'm going to let Nancy talk about, we've talked about my personal experience, and I came to Locked In Wellness because I was in pain and I wanted to lose weight. But she does so much more than that. I'm going to pull up her website and I'm going to let Nancy talk about the services that she provides. I'm going to let her talk about how she supports clients that are in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta. I didn't know she took people that needed to gain weight. I cannot relate. That is not my issue. But I'll pull up the website. I'm going to drop it in the chat. That way, if you guys wanted to reach out, you can call her office and she offers free consultation. I would encourage you all to get your consultation specific to you because she is a very busy lady. But Nancy, if you would talk to us a little about your business, maybe how you got into it, what, any general, what you want to share about typical diet or any common themes, anything that you want to share with my class.
Absolutely. So yeah, so my journey started about 17 years ago. This is when I started thinking about how is it possible to help manage people's weight without the struggle or the yo-yo dieting. And this is where the whole process started there because I have been through, of course, helping people with HCG diets and that kind of diet and that kind, and so I've seen it all. And the one common denominator I always get back with this is that people unfortunately yo-yo. Okay. They lose the weight. Keto diet is important. I mean, a lot of people do the keto, they lose the weight. The minute they start to eat back normal, what we consider normal, the pounds are back plus more, which we call rebound. So that was where the frustration started. I was like, okay, there got to be a better way to prevent people from gaining the weight after working so hard for X amount of time. So, and that is where I started my journey. So, of course, a lot of work, a lot of research, school study, a lot of different things that I went through to help me understand the body better, the anatomy of the body, and how can I prevent that from happening. And that's where the locked in name came up because I decided, all right, when people lose the weight, I'm going to lock them in. I want to make sure that they do not gain the pounds back. They're not going to rebound. And that's why it's called locked in because you are locked in for life after you lose the weight and we get you to a reset phase. And then after reset, of course, we go into maintenance phase. That goes into for people who are their intentions is to lose the weight or change their lifestyle to help them reduce inflammation and so on and so on. So, and that's where we start here. Of course, we go through the testing, which, like I said, the main basic ones are the food sensitivity. I do also, like I said, I do the mineral testing. I do blood testing as well if needed. And that is to target gut and see if there's any bacteria in the gut. Also, a certain foods that I want to see if it's at a severe level or a higher level of sensitivity where it's closer to an allergy and so on and so on. So I do look at those as well. Um, and so I can kind of get a better idea and then or visualizing the gut even more if there's a lot of if somebody has major gut health issues or they have been through that for so long. So then I like to do that. So there's some blood testing we do. Like I said, mouth swab, hair analysis, and then of course the BIA that we do also in here to help us understand a little bit more about the cell in visualized cells, and we look at that as well. So those are the major tests that we do here, and based on those testing, we'll be able to treat or work on a plan that can help, the individual with their energy, or their weight, an issue, weight gain, inflammation, things like that. So it is all about a health well-being. My target here is to get people healthy, feel good about themselves, and that's pretty much what my main philosophy here is to get everybody health. back.
If I can jump in, and thank you so much for that context. So, I have a lot of questions about the testing. So, if you could answer once and for all, because I am not the expert. We said in your office that I did a cheek swab, that I did a hair sample. You also do blood testing. I know you explained it to me once about why you have different kinds of tests. Some are for long term, some are for short term. Can you explain to the class the difference between what you get from the cheek swab versus the hair sample versus a blood test?
Correct. So the cheek swab is more targeting for food sensitivity. The hair testing is more targeting to look at minerals, heavy metals, because that's the best, most accurate way of us getting those levels and an accuracy. And of course, it looks at history of the hair. So we look at about 2 to 3 inches of the hair. That's what we target. And then the blood testing is for gut health and food sensitivity as well. But in that food blood testing, I'm more looking at current sensitivities, not historic. Okay, so when I do the blood testing, I'm looking at what kind of reactions this person is having recently. The hair, excuse me, the hair and the swab are more history, so they give us a little bit more of a background as well. So, and that's the differences there.
I love that, and thank you for explaining that. So let me just rehash that once and for all, because I know there's a lot of different tests out there, and I always support do what's best for you. But what makes sense to me, what Nancy said, if you're going to do a blood test for food sensitivity, whether it's the finger stick that you do at home or a blood draw that you get at your doctor, what that will show is any sensitivity to foods that are currently in your system. So it's the holiday time. Let's say there's a something that you eat only a few times per year and you haven't eaten it recently. If you were going to get a blood test for your food sensitivity, and you are sensitive to that specialty item, but you haven't eaten it, it's not going to show up in your blood test results. It's going to show what's currently in your system. So it's good, but there are others that give you more of a long term things that you could have been eating over time that you would be sensitive to. So I wanted to make sure that we called that out and everybody has the information. Now I know Nancy, did you still want to bring in your team or
Oh yes, yes. I'm looking. Let me text them real quick because I think they were waiting for me to let them know to come in.
Absolutely. So while she's bringing her team in, so you all can see Locked In Wellness, and again, I put the link in the chat. The link is also in the description. And I was scrolling through the website here so you all can see Nancy's website when you go to lockedinwellness.com. And again, she is here in the Atlanta area, but you don't have to be in the Atlanta area. Maybe Nancy, you can talk about that when you talk about how you help clients all over the globe, because I know someone had a question about that. And also, I just have to a little shout out to me. Look who is on Nancy's website. I'm so excited that she put Maggie at the bottom of the website so people can follow along because, you know, cooking is my happy place and it's something that I'm going to have to do all the time anyway. And so I love being able to share different recipes that I come up with for you all that you can adjust accordingly. If I can have tomatoes, but you can't have tomatoes, maybe you substitute out bell peppers. If I can have, almond milk, but you can't have nut milk, maybe you have oat milk because I can't. So it's just my way of sharing and giving back because I feel incredible. So, yes, let's see here. Let me pull this down. So I know we had a question about how you support people who are not in the Atlanta area. And I know you do phone calls and Zooms and mail ins, but I'm going to let you talk about that.
Yes, so we do remotes for sure. You don't have to live in Atlanta to be able to actually get the services and the benefits of the services. It is all done, can be done remotely. The staff, what they do is they will send the kits out to the person and they will submit with all the details. Everything is labeled so that you can submit that to the labs. And as soon as we get the results, the staff will have already scheduled these appointments, phone calls, and so on. We do either Zoom call or we do by phone. It's the preferences, so we definitely like that. Here's my little staff in the back. On this way.
Come on in, everybody.
Oh, all right. So we got here Kimberly. So Kimberly is the health coach here. She does a wonderful job. She is the great motivator here. Everybody likes her. She's tough, but she's good. So she likes to get people on their toes, helping them understand. She does also a wonderful job with recipes as well, helping Maggie some with those recipes. So definitely, she's a good motivator, and we also have Cheyenne, who is also a coach, but also she's a coordinator. She's the one that will help me, get new patients, clients in here, get them in with us, and setting them up for their new consultation. Just briefly talking to them about what to expect when they come in to see us at the first time, and then after that, she walks them through all the steps after that. And then we have my little Nama here, nutritionist. So she also works with everyone here, the clients here. She helps them out with different components. It depends on the person. If they are been having too much fun, she definitely walks them through what does that mean and how to reset them. What ideas? Yes, exactly. Nobody cheats. I know. We're all good. But she definitely walks them through that. She writes some resets, and of course, all of the Kimberly and Nama does that too. They'll walk them through some different resets. We have some magical resets that can. We call them the metabolic shockers. So they shock the metabolism to get their body back into shape, and so on and so on. So and that's kind of my back office team. We have also the front, but this is the back, and this is where who they will be involved a lot with when they begin with us that journey. We all communicate, so we love to know everybody. Of course, we like to be friends with everyone, and of course, but we are also a little mean. So when it comes to cheaters, we definitely definitely call them out and let them know, right, Maggie? Oh, you never experienced that before, have
I
you?
have no idea what you're talking about. I have never once heard Nancy say, get it together. And I want
Never,
to, I've
never.
never heard her say that.
Nothing.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
they
I
are
was
they
going,
do an amazing job. I'll be honest with you. They're definitely everybody loves them. Oh, there you go. There you go. They're amazing. There is a biography. Each person, you can go back and look at their background. And we have a massage therapist as well. Sorry, Haley, I forgot to mention that. She does lymphatic massage therapy here. She is a medical massage therapist, so she definitely works on specifics. So it's not the romantic massages that, that everybody wants to get. It's the different kind of massage. So but she does a great job as well. She's a part of that of our team as well. But yeah, and we love to see you here. The girls love to work with everyone. They're great, and yeah, so we're excited to see everybody. I'm sure everybody sees that people that knows them, they know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's exciting.
absolutely. Thank you, ladies, so much. I have worked with all of them, and whoever came up with that butternut squash pie for pumpkin, but yes, I
Wasn't
made that. I made that on one of my streams. It was incredible.
it?
So
Yes.
yes, absolutely. And I've gotten my therapies and so much encouragement. I appreciate you all so, so much. So you guys can see Nancy has an incredible team. And so that answers the question. If you're not in the Atlanta area, you definitely will get supported. And I didn't know that she had pre-made kits to go out so you guys can mail in what you need to. Thank you all so, so much. I want to talk about my three big things, and then we'll turn it over to the questions from the class. I want to talk about sugar. I want to talk about dairy, and I want to talk about gluten. Now, I know those are the three for me, but there you go. Those are the three for me. So I know when you work with everybody, you're going to give specific, based on their DNA. But every time I've been tested, those three culprits come up. And you talked about resetting, because y'all know I'm low and slow, but I'm going in the right direction. But I live life, I travel, celebrate, and life happens. So I want to talk about sugar. What happens in the body when we consume sugar? What is the big deal with sugar? It's everywhere. We've always had it. Why is that such a problem? I want to talk about dairy. That one was a hard one for me when you told me no dairy. I love milk and cream and yogurt and all of that. What happens in the body when you're sensitive to dairy? And then the last one, gluten, which is kind of one of those things like, is that like really a thing? It was kind of this trendy thing, but it is real. What is it? And what happens in the body for those three things? And then we'll go to the questions.
Yes. So, of course, those are main three foods or lists on the list. The top one that are commonly actually seen, and that's because of consumption. We eat those all the time, and that's from going back to childhood all the way to adult. We eat those. I mean, if they're cheese, so we eat cheese. We of course breads, the whites, and those are the major ones because they are actually in pretty much in everything. And certain people don't even think about that. When
Mm,
we talk about dairy, it's like, oh, I don't drink milk. Well, dairy is not just milk. Dairy
really?
is cheese, yeah. Well, dairy is butter. Dairy is in a lot of different things. So, and sometimes it's in a mix of things. So it's not just the main component, but it is there. It's a part of something. So, sometimes when you read a label, it will say may contain milk. Well, there are certain people that can't consume that because that's a cross contamination.
Yeah.
And that cross contamination can actually be very harmful for some people, um,
Mm,
especially if they have an allergy to dairy. So there's even supplements, certain supplements there's dairy in them. Now we're more conscious about that now, and that is definitely it's a product that definitely can be sneaky for sure. We see it a lot, so that's why it's very commonly, and yes, it is an inflammatory one for sure. That's one, and then gluten again. It's definitely what makes food taste better, bread taste better. And that is,
really?
yes, of course. So, and that, of course, it helps with maintaining food longer, maintaining products. Bread stays at shelf longer. I've seen a lot of people, and it's a true statement. People go out, and travel to Italy, to France, and like, I ate bread, I ate pasta, I ate this, and I ate that, but I never had a reaction like I did here. Well,
So
yeah, because
true.
they're so different. Okay. So there's not a lot of gluten in that food there because it's fresh, it's made fresh all the time. Well, for us here, consumers, we have to keep enough stuff out on the shelf, which is going to be higher in gluten, and that is what makes it very inflammatory. But those are main ones that do attack joints, unfortunately, do cause a lot of pains and aches, intestinal issues there too. GI. A lot of people come in and say, "Well, I have GI issues, and my doctor said avoid dairy and gluten, and you should be fine." Well, yeah, of course, because we know those are common, but there's other components, and they're like, okay, well, it did help a little bit, but I'm not 100%. Well, what if they had issues with chicken? What if they had issues with beef? And what if they had issues? I've seen it all, and so that's 1% or a small percentage of the elimination. What about the rest? And that is what we work on here. So we look at the bigger picture of that and say, and I'm not saying that everybody has gluten, wheat, and dairy. By the way, I've had people that have no issues with gluten, wheat, and dairy. Okay, that is not their issue. Their issues are other stuff. And again, yeah, so we look at that. And the goal, of course, with elimination, you should be able to reduce the sensitivity by doing the elimination. Sometimes it takes us from 6 months to a year But again, you might be able to eat or introduce that back with moderation, and feel no issues, no problems with that. So,
That is incredible, and that is such a good point. Nancy said so much there, y'all. We're coming to the Q&A portion, so if you have questions, I'm gonna scroll back up to the top, and we're gonna ask questions for Nancy, but a couple things. So we talked about sugar, dairy, and gluten being very common, but I
mhm.
remember when I got my test results and I was mad, Nancy said, "Well, this is your DNA." And I was kinda like, "Well, I can't really do anything about it. But the good thing is to be encouraging. She said, you can't have it right now, but we might be able to work some stuff back
Yeah.
in. So if you get tested for food sensitivities and there's something on there that you're just, oh, I can't live without this, there are ways in down the line once you give your body a rest. And I am not a professional, but you may be able to have them, like Nancy said, in moderation. Last thing
Absolutely.
that Mhm.
Yeah.
And then last thing that I'll say that I absolutely love about being a part of Locked In Wellness, and you all, Nancy is here, on her own time for free. None of this is sponsored. I am just sharing you guys my experience. But if it sounds like a lot, it is, especially in the beginning when you don't know anything about this and we're all creatures of habit and we just eat the same thing every day, what we've been raised on.
Yeah.
I really had to change the way that I approach food and even looking at condiments. Oh, this is ranch dressing. Oh, shucks, but it's got dairy in it. So those are the things that I have to look at now. But the support that I get from this staff, I could be out at a restaurant and take a picture of the menu if I'm panicking. I'm going out, what can I have on here? Or if I'm shopping, I still do it to this day. When I want to try new ingredients, I'll take a picture and I'll text Nancy and I'll say, can I have this? And she'll say, no, it's got too much of this. Or yes, you can have that. Or you can have it from time to time. I love the support system. Look, if I could have lost the weight on my own, I would have been done that, but I needed help. So I'm so glad that I'm part of Locked In Wellness team for life. All right.
Yay!
Yay! So I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top. Thank you all so much for being here and for liking the live stream. All right. So we're just going to go down with the questions. We got 30 minutes with Nancy. Thank you all for hitting the like button. Thank you, Sherry Baby, for saying an amazing accomplishment. Thank you so much. I feel incredible. Everybody saying hi, Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Hi,
Hello.
Nancy.
Hello,
Yes. I hope
hello,
you
and
guys are
hello.
enjoying this. Bling Auntie is here to learn for her own journey. Lisa has her consultation scheduled. You all, please check out Locked In Wellness. I dropped the link. They offer free consultations and you don't have to be in Atlanta. So if this is helpful for you, go ahead and get your free consultation. All right. Salute. Thank you so much, Bolo TV. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm scrolling down. Come on in. Yes, we talked about the swab. We talked about brain fog, and I'll answer that question, and maybe Nancy can talk about brain fog. I thought it was normal to crash in the middle of the day. Again, I thought a lot of this stuff was just getting older. And when I changed my diet, I have so much energy. You all say, Maggie, how do you do it? You see me cooking, you see me running around with these kids. When I eat better, I feel better. Nancy, what can you say about brain fog?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, inflammation can lead to brain fog, and also there's insulin resistance can be also a component to that. People that crash midday is because they're lacking fuel, and usually what we do is what we try to do is fuel by eating. And most people, when they have insulin resistance, or some people don't, and they're not even aware that they have it, it's they're craving the carbs and sugars to keep them moving, or they have to literally, their body says, shut down for a little bit, take a nap, and then wake up and refresh again. It's just their body's trying to recope with their situation. But those naps are usually when the insulin starts to go down, when they start to bleed that. And that's usually, but most people, when they come in, we work on that, we balance it. That is not even a part of their journey. And I will make a comment about one person today. It was so funny because we laughed so hard, me and her, because she came in and she had a list of concerns for herself. And today was her follow up visit after being on the program. And so I was asking her questions, and she kept looking at me like, "Hmm, no, I don't have any problems." And I said, "Do you not remember that you said that to me?" She said, "No, I don't recall I complained about this and this and this." And I said, let me tell you what you told me on your first day. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I listed everything she said to me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot that I had
Yeah.
all this." And we laughed. I said, "Oh my gosh, well, I'm assuming then they're gone. That we don't need to worry about them anymore because if you don't think of them and you don't know that you have those anymore. Well, you don't remember saying it, then they're gone." She said, "Yeah, because I didn't think, so we started laughing about that. And the
Yeah.
one thing that she had an issue with was brain fog and fatigue.
Mm.
I said,
Yeah.
"I don't think I've ever told you that." I said, "Well, yeah, your first initial consultation, this is exactly when I asked you what brings you in, one of the things you listed was that." And those are things that actually we appreciate. She was very happy to hear that, of course, but also it was exciting for me to see that she forgot she even had that. I was like, "Well, there you go. I don't have to worry
Absolutely.
about it anymore. It's off the list now." But yes, of course, there's so much involved in that. But brain fog is real. Okay, people, brain fog is real. It is definitely something that people can, and it could also be related not just to inflammation. It can be related to mineral depletion. Okay,
Mm.
there's certain minerals in the body. If your body is depleted from, then it can cause the issue of the brain fog,
Yeah.
and that is very, very important too. I know a lot of people go on, and I've had people come in and they're taking, oh my lord, I can't tell you how many vitamins, specific for each issue that they're having. And then when we get the mineral test, none of that is working
Oh my goodness. Yes.
because of malabsorption. So then we look at, all right, well, you're taking that many products, but none of them are working. Well, yeah, because it's bioavailable. You're just flushing it out. Now,
Function.
then there is a malabsorption. So now we have to look at why are you not absorbing those minerals? It's not that this product is not good because it could be the most expensive product out there. That's not
Right.
the issue. It's not that the product is not good. It is you're not absorbing it because of something. It could have. I've had seen people that had sensitivity to corn, and there's certain supplements have corn product in it.
Ah,
So
Jesus.
yes, because it is gluten free and it is a filler. So there you go. So that's kind of where, yeah, it can be a.
Oh my goodness. So much. We had a question. We touched on this a little bit, metabolism affecting mental health, anxiety, and depression. I believe food is medicine, but yes, what do you say about that?
Food is medicine. Food is medicine. 90% is related to food. Anxiety, depression, there's multiple ways of looking at that. I don't diagnose depression or anxiety, but what I do is I look at what could be a trigger to anxiety and depression. There's
Okay.
physical fatigue. I mean, again, it classifies as depression, but it's not. There's a trend. There's a risk factor. But I don't say, "Oh yeah, you're anxious. No, 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 no." What we look for is risk factors that can be a trigger to that. So, and then we work on that because
Mm,
we're looking at the smallest molecules here. So yes, but it is
got it.
food is medicine. Is for sure.
Absolutely. Next question, we touched on this, so I'll answer. So the question was Genesis wants to know if you don't live in America, do we mail in our cheek swab and hair
Yeah,
sample? So Nancy spoke to that. Her team has kits ready to mail out for anyone who's not here in
international.
Atlanta. Yes, so she'll do Zoom calls, phone calls, anything else you wanted to add about
Absolutely.
global clients?
Yeah, yeah. So we do a lot of international. So definitely that's not an issue. We can, we'll walk you through the steps to international, and how that works. And yeah, absolutely, we use Zoom or WhatsApp for those calls. If it's international calls, and then yeah, no problem. That's simple and easy for
That's
sure.
awesome. Question, because I remember skin was an issue for me in the beginning. Lisa wants to know, does eczema clear up when you change your diet and eating? So what do you
Hundred
say about
percent,
skin issues?
100%, 100%. And I've seen it
Okay.
multiple times. Many, many times, yes. People have suffered with skin conditions for years and years and years. And then when we start looking at their sensitivities and reactions, do the full avoidance, it's gone.
Wow, that
Those
is so encouraging. If you
take
have chronic issues, skin or whatever, you don't know freedom until you don't have that thing that has nagged you for years. I have experienced that. Eczema was an issue for me. We had a question from Out Here Trucking. Any advice on how truck drivers can speed up their metabolism? And we'll ask for truck drivers or anybody else who may be sedentary that has a job where they have to sit for a long period of time. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, because metabolism is generated not from just exercising, because you could be exercising heavily and you still have a slow metabolism. So that is not the main component here. So we do have a lot of people who are sedentary. We look at the causes of the slow metabolism because that could be related to something totally different than just not being active. Um,
Mm.
Food has a lot of impact on that. Adrenals has a lot of impact on that. Insulin resistance has, mineral depletions has. So there's so much involved in that. So yes, you don't have to be very active to be able to enhance your metabolism. So yes, we
All
can.
right. Good to know. It can definitely be improved. So we talked
Oh
about dairy, we talked about sugar, we talked about gluten, reading labels. Everybody's coming in. Hello, Wilbert. Lauren had a question. How long is the initial assessment? So maybe you can talk about whether it's in person or remote. What kind of time frame should people expect for the assessment?
Yes. So first, when they contact us to with interest, Cheyenne will walk them through the steps of how this works and what to expect. Kind of get an idea of what they're looking for, and then they get scheduled with me for 30 minutes, and I will sit there, either talk to them on over the phone or Zoom, or be in the office with me, and we'll talk about their concerns, what really truly brings them in, and we talk about certain things and direct them which way. Some people come in and say, hey, I want to lose weight. But when I start to talk to them, I'm like, really, truly, you don't really need to lose weight. Let's look at
Mm.
this first before, because it's not always about weight loss. Um, so, and then we decide at that point, and usually, then we agree on what direction to go. And then after that, they go in for testing with Cheyenne, and she walks them through, getting the sample, sending it off, and they schedule them. And then we do the BIA, and all those different things we do. So it can, so my assessment with them is 30 minutes, and then there's about 30 to 45 minutes with the staffing to help them with the testing and processes and scheduling. So
Okay. And what I remember from when I was tested, when we send off the samples, it was about a week for results to come back. Is that still the
right now
case?
we're about 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Okay. So
Hmm.
you all, the line is getting longer. I put the link
Yeah.
in the chat. If you want your free consultation, reach out. We had another question from Out Here Trucking. What salad dressing is healthy to use? You all have heard me talk about beverages and condiments so much, but Nancy, any tips on salad dressing?
It really depends on the person. I don't really have a specific one that I would say, just because it depends on the sensitivity. I'm not gonna say, this is better than this, because I really don't know. It's so personalized at that point. But if you're looking for a good salad dressing, you want the one that has more protein, less sugar, of course, in it, less
Oh.
dairy in it, of course, and best, of course, will be gluten free. But there are certain ones that you can, kind of pick from in there. So,
Wow, I never knew you could get protein in salad dressing. That
yeah,
is
absolutely.
incredible.
Absolutely.
Wow. Snuggles, I see your questions. We're going to group those towards the end. I'm going to keep going. My mom is on here. This is Mom. Hello, Nana. She says, hello, Nancy and staff. Thank you for coming to share so much about food and health because we rarely think of how they relate until there is pain. Yes, absolutely. And we want to be pain free. All right, we have another question here from Chelsea. Does metabolism affect the liver?
Well, I think it's the opposite. The liver can impact the metabolism. It depends on toxins. So if there's toxins in the liver, then yes, it could slow down your metabolism, but you generate metabolism in the liver. So So
Oh.
that's kind of where yeah. So the answer, yes, in different ways, yes. So
Okay, interesting. Miss Globe Girl had a question. I think we just answered it, but she wanted to know what the consultation entails. So we talked about that. When you schedule, you get the first walkthrough to walk you through the process, and then you have your call or your in person with Nancy, the tests, mail it off 2 to 3 weeks. You get your results, and then decide if you're ready for this.
mhm.
Anything else you want to talk about the consultation, or we already answered it?
I think we answer, but of course, when we decide which way to go, then when the girls set it up, I will write a plan together. I will put a plan together based on the sensitivities, and then we'll walk you through that plan that's personalized to that person specifically. So there's a lot of different follow ups that it takes place during that time. For sure.
Okay, we have another question from Lisa. I know some people have been interested in this. So, of course, I signed up for the whole program because I needed help. But Lisa says, can you only get food sensitivity and meal testing, or do you have to do the whole program, especially if you want to gain weight and maintain weight? So, Lisa's looking to gain. She wants to know if you offer just the testing or you have to do the whole program.
You don't have to do the whole program. Yes, we can do the testing. Some people just want to do the food sensitivity testing. Some people want to do just the mineral testing. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's no problem. Yeah. So
Okay.
you don't have to be on the program, basically.
That is great to know. And I love the program because I need the support, but what I love about it is that it's customized for you. And like Nancy said, oftentimes foods can fall off of your list and you can slowly incorporate them back. As I've taken 3 tests every year, I'm like, this is the year. I lost like 40 pounds the first year, 20 pounds, 25 pounds the second year, and so far this year, 20 pounds. I got at least 20 more to go, and you all are going to help me get to the end of the finish line. I know Nancy's
So
been on the way
close. We're so close,
so
girl.
close.
We're so
I've come
close.
a long way. I've come a long
I
way
love,
just in.
Meg, I like the picture. Do you remember that first picture you showed me ever?
Oh,
You remember that
yeah,
one?
I think
That's
so.
my favorite picture.
I don't know if I'm going to be showing that one here, but I will show you guys in case anybody hasn't seen Maggie before. I will show you a picture of me. I have come a long way, and we still got a ways to go. But believe me, it's been a struggle, and I finally have freedom now. Thank you so much, Q Fancy. Chelsea says I didn't think of that, so that's good to know. So
Yeah.
we have someone in the chat who has several questions. Snuggles is our favorite troll. So I'm going to kind of combine these. We have a question. Any thoughts on food from, actually, we'll start with this one because I know you have a beautiful Lebanese heritage. And the question is your thoughts on Middle Eastern food. And I'll
Mhm.
preface this by saying, everybody, well, in case anybody doesn't know, I'm actually was born in Ghana and coming from a culture, West African, where there's a lot of rice, a lot of starch, a lot of
Yeah.
beans, our Latin brothers and sisters, Middle Eastern, even Asian culture. Any thoughts on those regional foods? Is it fine, but we just eat too much of it? What can you say about Middle Eastern or Asian food?
Honestly, all foods are okay. I can't say one is better than the other one. Again, that goes back to the person itself. So I can say, all right, well, Middle Eastern's perfect plan, diet to follow. But what if, you have a sensitivity to greens or tomatoes or chicken? So then part of that is not going to be healthy then for that person. So all diets are okay. I always tell, and I know Maggie will tell you that I always say that. She will agree. I say moderation. um, Everything within moderation is okay. So there's not one specific diet. I'm not gonna be the person to say, all right, well, we're gonna put you on a keto diet to lose the weight. No, okay. I don't like that, and because again, everybody's so different. So yeah, I have people that are vegan. Well, I can't say, well, no, 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 no. The vegan diet is not good. Well, no, it's not. It's great. But again, let's look at what in that vegan diet if that's a belief or that's a religion base, what's in that diet that we have to substitute to help you within the guidelines. So I respect every diet. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's actually what your body can tolerate. It's really
Yeah,
about you. It's versus the plan. It's really hard to say one is better than the other. Honestly, it's impossible.
I love that, and I know Q Fancy said you're in Africa, so you're struggling with the starches. Believe me, I understand. We had a couple more questions
Yes.
come in. We had, let me go to Lisa first. So Lisa says, um, are there any health issues that you do not work with on your plan? So, do you ever have clients that are diabetic, maybe have kidney issues? Can you speak to, is there anybody that should not work with your team?
Not yeah, not necessarily. Now, of course, we don't work with any chronic diseases. Of course, like I said, I don't diagnose anything. I just help with the lifestyle, and I try to work with, just enhancing health. Of course, people who are diabetic, this is great for them because definitely it will help with their A1C, because one of the things that we do is help you reduce your blood sugar levels in a healthy way. So, and Maggie can tell you all about that. And
Yeah.
we have had a lot of success with that. So, no, not really. But again, yes, I'm not if they do work with, if they have dialysis and things like that, there's really nothing for me. I think they need to continue with their treatment with their doctors, the physicians that are taking care of them if it's that chronic.
Absolutely. And we have a question from Louise. I'm sure you get this one a lot. Are you
Mhm.
associated with any health insurance plans?
I don't do any insurances. This is a cash-based practice, and we don't do any insurances at this point. But
Yeah,
we
so
do have spending and flex spending. Sorry,
yep,
we
I
do
was
have
just about to say,
spending and
I
flex
took care
spending.
of mine with my health savings
Yeah.
account. And this time of year, if you have flexible spending with your insurance and maybe you have funds that are kind of use it or lose it, you can call and see if it's something that would work for you. And I will just say this for me, it has been the absolute best investment because it's one time and it's for life. And now I know wherever I go in my journey, I always know how to recenter and I have the support. So that's the answer to that question. But yeah, absolutely. We got 10 plus sounds in the house. Shout out to the Africans. And I have to shout out 10 plus sounds, you all. Anybody who has a YouTube channel, you know the importance of thumbnails. So one moment, 10 plus sounds made three different options of thumbnails for me and for Nancy. This one was my favorite. Then we also
Oh,
had this one, the blue one, and then
oh.
this one you all voted as your favorite. So he has been helping me with my YouTube channel. You all please check him out. We got a few more minutes with Nancy and then I will continue. But 10 Plus Sounds is a YouTuber. He has a music channel and does graphic designing. So if anybody needs help with artwork for your channel or business, please check out 10 Plus Sounds. And he is in Ghana, originally from Nigeria. All right. We got a few people saying hello. We got Baranthia saying hi,
Hello!
Nancy.
Hey!
Yeah, we got Facebook here, we got YouTube here, we got Twitter here. So we got a few more minutes with Nancy. So whatever questions y'all have, she's with us for 7 more minutes. I want to respect her time. And then once she drops down, I will stay on and you guys can ask me questions, but I am not the expert. Another question from Out Here Trucking. How does alcohol disrupt your metabolic system? So for anybody who likes to splurge this time of year, any thoughts on alcohol?
Well, we know alcohol does slow down your metabolism, it shuts it off. But again, moderation is the key. Moderation is the key. It's okay to drink. Again, you got to enjoy life. Life is, we have to be happy. But there is limit, I would definitely work with moderation on that one because of, yes, it can slow you down completely.
I did not know that about the
Yeah,
metabolic system, but also the calories. You
yeah,
all helped me know like
sugar.
so much sugar in
Yeah.
some of the, especially if you like a cocktail like me. So, uh,
Absolutely.
I don't see any other questions. So let's wrap up talking about this time of year. It is the holiday time. It's
It
a difficult time for a
is.
lot of us who want to celebrate and want to be festive. Any general tips, anything that we can be mindful of before the new year? Because I know a lot of people are going to have those New Year's resolutions, but what would you like to share about this time of year when it comes
First,
to
I want
food?
to say happy holidays to everyone. This is the best, most amazing time of the year for me as well. I really enjoy celebrations. And the main things you want to really focus on, because it's winter time, we tend to not drink enough water. Just focus on drinking water. We do drink alcohol, social drinking, definitely, which can cause you to be dehydrated. Just be very mindful about water and the importance of water. You definitely, that is a major, major one as well. So I just want to make sure that I advise everybody to be conscious about their water and think about how much water did I drink today? Did I even drink water today? Coffee does not count as your water. Any caffeine is not water. So we want to focus on drinking true water. um, Also sugar intake. It's okay to enjoy sugar, enjoy holiday celebrations and desserts, but moderation is a key. Because the more you eat the sugar, again, the more you put in your body at risk. So it's definitely important for you to be conscious about how much desserts or sweets I'm putting in my body. Again, remember, your body, your food is your health. So whatever you put in is who you are. So just be very mindful about what you put in your body, and again, work with moderation with that. Um, Try to balance it out. If you know you had a Christmas party and you ate so many carbs and sugars and different things and fried food, well, then I would definitely be conscious the day after. I would not say, well, it's the holiday, so I'm just going to keep going. We don't want to do that. We want to offset it with healthier meals. So balance your life, balance your life, because holidays are every year. It's not just once well. So
Absolutely. We had someone else saying hello. Miss Sheena saying hello from Facebook. Uh, Vel is eating chocolate chip cookies right now. So, last question. I know, right? You said something that I want to touch on since it is the holidays, and you talked about if you enjoy yourself, getting right back on track. Those cravings are real. Some people have trigger foods. Sometimes, I have now learned when I indulge to get right back on because I feel the pain. And so the pain kind of pushes me back on.
Mhm.
But for anybody who finds themselves having a cheat meal that turns into a cheat day, that turns into a cheat week, can you talk about? I remember you said something about the pancreas and how it just kind of makes you want more, that it's real and anything they can do, protein, to get back on it.
Oh yeah,
As
absolutely. I agree with you. Yes. So when you start the, like you mentioned, if you start with the sugar, your body wants more because of the insulin. So now you're gonna crave more carbs. Now carbs and sugars, right? So and they again they kind of come meet together. Um, so definitely you don't you want to be very very careful with that. I always suggest to always balance it with some protein to sustain your insulin level, so that way you're not craving too much. And then it turns to a cheat day, to a cheat week, to a cheat year. And then by the time it's like you go back to your physical, the doctor's like, well, what have you been doing? Your levels are these, and this is your weight went up this much, and you need to be conscious. You need to do this. You need to do that. Yes, I've seen it happen, and it's not easy. I know, but again, that's why we can help you with this. We can definitely walk you through the steps. Again, if you don't have weight to lose. If you just want to feel healthier, you want to just live a healthy lifestyle, this is the way to do it. Just educate yourself about you in general, the person, and see what works best for you, and take it and walk with it, and just enjoy life. That's it. So, but yes, there is definitely major unfortunate circumstances to sugar.
I absolutely love that. And what Nancy said about living life and enjoying you, if nothing else is a takeaway for me, the takeaway has been about getting the information. It's up to you to make a decision whether you want to do it or not do it. Y'all know I'm going to be cooking for you anyway, but I absolutely love that. If you have struggled for years where every time I eat this happens. I don't know why I have these skin issues, hair issues, sleep issues, weight gain, bloating, brain fog, all of that. I am not a doctor and I tell you guys all the time, but it could be what you're eating. And that way, at least for me, I'm only speaking from my personal experience. Now that I know, if I go into Christmas dinner and I look at that food and I say, I'm having this cornbread, I'm going to pay for it, but at least I know why I feel bad. And then I
Mhm.
get right back on track and I feel better. So, Nancy, I wanted to respect
Absolutely.
your time. Was there anything else you wanted to say to the class before we go?
Well, I'm so proud of everybody that's on the plan, and hello to everybody. I'm so excited, and that was such a fun time to be. I'm so grateful that I was able to get in and talk to everybody about, generally speaking about what we do here, and this is so exciting, and I can't wait to do more. I'm sure next time, yes, next time we can go more in details, and maybe we can focus, if you guys have a specific topic that you like to talk more about, then we can target just one topic at that point and then answer questions related to that topic, and then take it from there. But this is such an exciting, I love the cheers from everybody. I get to see all of that. This is so exciting. Hello to everyone, and I'm so proud of everybody. And I look forward to see the people that I don't have not seen yet. I look forward to seeing them, meeting them, walk them through this. Give them a hard time, Maggie. You can tell them all about that. That's okay.
Get it together.
Yes,
That's what
get
she
it
tells me.
together.
Get it together.
There's
Oh,
two
thank you
things
so much.
people say. I always say, get it together and not yet. So those are the two
Oh,
common
that is
words.
so true, you all. That is so true. When I got my test
I can
results, and I
tell you.
told you, I was so mad. And I was like, what do you mean? I can't have this. I can't have that. She said, not yet. She never says no. She says not yet. So allow that to encourage you. She answered my question as far as would she come back. So in the new year, we'll reach out to Nancy Ann. If you guys
Absolutely.
want me to, cover a certain topic, or if you get your results or whatever, of course, everybody's unique test results are to them. But Nancy says that she will come back. And so we will grab her again in the new year after you guys enjoy your Christmas. Please, I'm going to stay on. We're going to go ahead and let Nancy go. Thank you so much for being here, Nancy.
You're
And
so
I will see
welcome.
you soon.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.
Yes, thank you. Bye bye. Oh my gosh, y'all, that was so incredible. So, yes, yes, and yes. Let me know you guys' feedback. Well, first of all, we have a stream sponsor, and thank you so much, Money Bass. I wanted to make sure that I gave Nancy my undivided attention, but we have a stream sponsor. I am going to add you in the ticker. You guys have me until I get that swim phone call. So let me put this in here. The stream sponsor is the person who gives the biggest super chat, or Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Facebook stars. Let me know to look for it because I will miss it. So huge thank you to the stream sponsor, Money Bass. Money Bass has a fishing channel. He has also been part of the Lead Attorney Mastermind. In case anybody doesn't know, we take classes together and learn how to improve our YouTube channel. So thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, great collab. You're doing great things. So thank you so much, Money Bass. You are in the ticker. Vel, I saw you had a question come through about dry fasting. I don't know about that, no eating or drinking. I will say from my personal experience, Nancy has never had me fast on my plan. I've done a reset. She talked about different things, like if your weight plateaus, different things you can do to kind of kickstart that metabolism. metabolism, but I have never fasted on her plan. Look who we got here. Petty Murphy is in the building. Y'all know and you love him. Wilbert Gross is our class clown and high value scholar. He has outbid Money Bass with a $2.01 super chat. So Wilbert is now the stream sponsor. Let me go ahead and update the ticker. Thank you so much, Money Bass, for coming in. But I need to now change this because Wilbert, our high value scholar, has outbid you with 1 penny. The price is right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to pull up that before and after picture of me, you guys, and I'm just going to stay here and answer questions. I have my test results here. I have my mineral results here. I have Nancy's website here. What other questions do you all have that I can answer for you as a client of LockedIn Wellness? Oh, yes, Wilbert is going in. But, you know, you guys can see this is a journey. It is not a sprint. This is not a I was going to say get rich quick. It's definitely not that. But I remember, I'll share this. I didn't bring this up with Nancy, but I remember asking her about timing because, you know, with 80 pounds down and 20 more to go, clearly you do the math. I want to lose at least 100 pounds. And I remember asking Nancy when I started in January of 2020, how fast can I lose the weight? And she kind of made that face where it's like, oh no, one of those, right? Because we kind of are conditioned to like, I just want to get all this weight off tomorrow. Well, we didn't put it on in one day, and we're not going to lose it in one day. So to answer the question, she told me you can do it in 9 to 10 months. So my best performance has been about 10 pounds per month. However, that's not realistic and it's not sustainable. I'm actually glad in one way that it's taken me time to lose weight because I finally know that I'm going to keep it off. And you all are a big part of my success because I keep coming up with these recipes that I want to eat. So, of course, I'll enjoy my Christmas dinner, but this morning I made my apples with goat's cheese and the keto. Let me show you guys what I made today. The keto granola. There's just so much that we can do with food once you know what you can have. I got my box drawn out for me of this is what you can have and this is what you have to avoid. And within that box, I go to town. I have a good time, and you guys are a big, big part of it. So let's see what else I can share with you all. What else would you all like to know? Or what feedback do you guys have? I'm trying to bring you all as many collabs as I possibly can. Nancy, we were scheduled to go last week, but she lost her voice. So I'm so glad that she was able to join us today. Um, but yes, let's see. I'm going to make a little reel. Let's see, I'll show you guys what I made today for a snack. And it was so, so good. I was eating it like it was my apples. But I will say this in all seriousness. Let's see. Did I lose my, I don't know if my screen. All right, let's see what happens. But in all seriousness, y'all, my palate has completely changed. Um, what Nancy said is very real as far as the more you eat of the bad stuff, the more you're going to want it. I don't know what's going on. It's not letting me pull it up, but if it comes up, I'll show you guys. Genesis says being realistic keeps you on the right track. Yeah, and you guys, you know, one thing that's really true about my journey, even though you all have been with me, you know, this year, I've traveled. What Nancy said about the real foods, it is so true. When I went to Italy, or Italy, as they say, I had gelato every day. So good. I had their pasta. I had so much food that over here, I would be very sick, you know, if I ate it, but I ate it. Yeah, of course I put on some weight, but I lost it just like that when I came back. But the better quality food that you can get, you all know I'm not the food police and I always say start where you can, but if you're able to eat as natural as possible, as clean as possible, your body just tolerates it better. I mean, I'm never going to make anybody feel bad about, we all have a journey. Um, and Snuggles, I know you had some questions in here that I didn't get to. You had some questions about other um, health and wellness specialists like Dr. Oz, and then you asked about Dr. Sebi. I didn't want to bring that up. I don't want to put Nancy in a position where she has to speak about anybody else. I just wanted her to talk about her program, so we didn't get to those. But yes, what else? Do you guys, and I'll drop the link one more time. Oh, and I'll drop the link in case any of y'all want to come up. There is the link that you can reach out for your free consultation. I'll drop the link in case anybody wants to chat. I'd love to know your feedback on this collaboration. It seems like you guys enjoyed it. If you're new here, thank you. Please consider subscribing. I would love to share my journey with you all, because not only am I going to be losing the rest of this weight, I'm going to have to keep it off. And I'm going to have to do what I did to take it off, to keep it off. So, so yeah. Yep, yep, yep. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? All right, that page is just spinning, so we'll just drop it down. Let's see here. I'll give you guys, we'll go back to my test results. Oh, you guys, thank you so much. All right, so let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah, she's come a long way. I didn't even know about the mail-in kits. But that's great. I know we have scholars all across the globe. So that's good to know. They're ready to support you if you decide that this works for you. But for me, it's just having the information. I know certain people, I'm not going to name any names, but I know certain people who have gotten their test results and then they say, you know what, I'm not giving it up. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. And I really mean that. I'm not judging anybody, but at least now you know. If you know that chicken, dairy, gluten, citrus, all that stuff is a problem for your body, and you keep eating it, when you feel bad, you'll know what's causing it. There's nothing worse than like having this like undiagnosed or this issue, like I can't sleep or I always have, like indigestion or whatever. At least you know, so you go into what you eat being informed. All right, let me see if I can share you guys my test results so you can see kind of what you would get. And you get a whole protocol. I'll show you this and then we'll look at some of the recipes and you guys can let me know if you want me to make, what you want me to make from her list. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see. So I've been tested a couple times. You saw that I started in 2020 and then I have been, I like to retest at the beginning of the year because every year I say, this is the last year for me. And here we go. But I haven't put the weight back on that I've lost. I may be plateauing, but there's nothing like moving forward. What does Genesis say? Oh, you were good. You weren't cutting up in the chat. You did hear the door chimes. Yes, that was Nancy's office. She was in her office, but you guys, it's a business office. So every time the front door opens, you heard the chimes. Yeah, this is just us, y'all. I'm not a professional. I'm just sharing with you all. All right, so you can see here, you will get some type of food list. So you can see this is mine that I took at the beginning of the year. And I don't think I'm going to retest was smaller. Uh-oh, seems like it's refreshing. Let me refresh. It says stand by. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm going to keep going. I'll put it in the chat. Let me know if you can still hear. Okay. So, like I said, some foods have fallen off my list. Hooray. Now I can have coffee. Hooray. Now I can have chicken. And she works with you with all of that stuff. But there are some things that have been consistent for me. So I just say, you know what? Sugar, dairy, and gluten. That's what I got to do. Okay. Okay, good. Yes, you can use your HSA. Absolutely. HSA, FSA, you can. Okay, so I'll just walk through this with you guys so you guys see my test results. And this list is actually pretty clean. If I show you the first one, it was color coded to all get out. But she has the different food categories, and I have some specific videos on this on my YouTube channel. If you scroll back, I walked you guys through each section. But when you get your test results, she's got the different fruits broken out that are on her plan, so you guys can see here and you can see the portion. I like to go with the apples because what am I doing? I like to go with the apples because it allows me to have a whole apple, and you can see I can have two a day, hence the reason why I really like to get the biggest apple or the biggest orange that I can and do it up. But you guys see, I can have apples and berries. I can have oranges. You guys can see here, and I am not sensitive to any fruits anymore. My first list, tangerine, orange, and clementine came up because I was eating them all the time. All right, you can see here the vegetables that are allowed on her plan, so you guys get an idea of it and how you can cook them boiled, broiled. You guys see me doing some pans here. She's the one that told me about the MCT oil. Luckily for me, I can pretty much have any vegetable that is on this list. You'll notice that these are the low sugar vegetables. Interestingly enough, cucumbers came up on my list. And so for me, that would be cucumbers, that would be pickles, that would be relish. So I have to be mindful of that. It's weird. It's some stuff that you eat a lot of, and it's some stuff I don't eat that at all. Like Melba toast came up on my list. I'm not eating Melba toast. Who does that? Anyway, if you like Melba toast, that's fine. I remember when I first started, what else was on my list? Peppers was hard because I was tearing up the salsa. I was eating salsa like all the time. So I had to give that a rest because peppers came up on my list. But now I don't have that issue anymore. So I'm pretty good with vegetables. All right, proteins. What proteins am I sensitive to? So you can see here pretty much the dairy. So your cottage cheese, your Greek yogurt, and then kefir, which I've had it before, but it's like this really thick, almost sour kind of smoothie. I know somebody that likes it, but I wasn't a big kefir fan. And then, funnily enough, lobster came up on my sensitivity list. Now, unfortunately, well, actually, fortunately for me, the most expensive protein I am sensitive to. I don't eat lobster a lot. I have had it. I got a great recipe. And at this point in my journey, now that I'm 80 pounds down with 20 to go, um, I know now how to kind of do it on my own and not fall off the wagon. So if I wanted to make lobster for you all tonight or tomorrow, I could do that. I could eat it. It's kind of like in the beginning, I was very strict to lose like the first 40 pounds. Once I got to about 60 pounds, it's kind of like I had gotten over the 50-pound hump of, you know what you need to do to get back on track. So if you're going to eat something, just don't be ridiculous, right? And now at 80 pounds, I can kind of self monitor. So honestly, you guys, that's been a little bit of my problem and why I'm kind of holding still. If I get really strict on this, the weight will start to go down. But the upside is I'm not gaining any weight. All right. So, lobster from time to time, or, I know some people are very severely allergic to shellfish. And again, this is not allergies, this is sensitivity. So, I had to learn this, and Nancy talked about this. If you're allergic, that is a sudden reaction and it is a severe reaction. People who are allergic to shellfish, people who are allergic to peanuts, they know it. They will tell you. They sometimes can't even be in the same area. Food sensitivities are very different. You may eat it and feel completely fine, but inside your body's having a hard time processing it, pushing it through, trying to get through it, but you feel fine. Or it could be your sleep, your skin, your all that other stuff, brain fog, um, joint pain, bloat. Food sensitivities also can be delayed. And I didn't know that. So that's a big distinction. Food allergies are immediate. Food sensitivities can be delayed. So you can, like, if dairy is a sensitivity for you, you could eat dairy and feel fine. But the next day or even longer than that, you could just feel jacked up, and you don't know it's what you ate like 3 meals ago. And to me, that's fascinating. So that's why I'm always encouraging, for your own information, I say get tested, right? For your own information, find out what your body tolerates well. So when you go into that holiday, I'm going to tell you guys, y'all were here. You saw me chowing down on AB's mac and cheese, knowing good and well I do not need to eat gluten, knowing good and well I do not need to be eating dairy. I ate it, and I was like, y'all saw the itis and everything kicking in. And the next day, I got right back on track, back to my lean protein and my fruits and veggies. We got Victoria in the house. Oh, thank you so much for coming here. Victoria is also a scholar, and a part of the Lead Attorney Mastermind. She's got a YouTube channel on trading. Oh, did I not put Wilbert in the chat? Wilbert, I'm so sorry. There you are. You all please check out Victoria. She gifted me and the class with a beautiful acacia wood cutting board. If anybody wants to buy any supplies for the class, if you're new here, usually I'm doing cooking about 80% of the time, but every once in a while we'll have a chat like this. I do have a teacher's wish list. If you want to buy anything from Amazon, they'll ship it directly to me. I will unbox it live on camera, and we will use it in a recipe. What does Genesis say? Facts. You feel fine, however, the body is fighting for peace and comfort. Absolutely. So I wanted to make sure I made that distinction. You all, I didn't know any of this. I had to learn it just like you. So there's a huge difference between food allergies and food sensitivities. Food sensitivities can go under the radar for years, and you have no idea. You're just tearing it up. All right, so back to my test results. Okay, so I have to avoid cottage cheese. So you guys can see here, this is where I get my sensitivities, my substitutes from. So if it's highlighted for me, let me go up to the top so you guys can see. It's color coded, so you can see here some things you're going to be mildly sensitive to, some things moderate, and some things severely. And of course, for me, either no sensitivity or severely sensitivity. Great. So I know what I got to do. All right, so you can see here for my, where were we? For the protein, you can see the the proteins that I can have. I can have soy. I don't give it to the boys. I can have shellfish, except for lobster. You guys see here the coconut yogurt, chicken breast, lean. Like, look at the beef. If you're going to eat beef, that's fine, but they prefer lean and grass fed. Do I always do that? No. Should I do that? Yes. But I keep it real with you guys, okay? So, absolutely happy to help you guys out. If anybody here has a YouTube channel, if anybody here has a family business, or like I always say, maybe your kids are behaving, because mine are not. Let us know what it's called and where we could find you. Mona's got a YouTube channel. Please shout out your channel and the kids' channel. You guys are here to support me, so I want to support you. But you can see here, I got this list of what I can have. And so my creative juices started flowing. Like, what can I make? Like tuna. I haven't had tuna in years, but ooh, if I make a tuna melt with, so on and so forth, that's kind of, what I do. And look at this crab meat, but no imitation crab. You'll notice this with Nancy. She's going to encourage you to eat real food wherever you can get it, and not really do any of the imitation stuff, only because the body recognizes natural better and processes natural better. Again, do what works for you, but I'm just sharing my experience. All right. So eggs, and you guys can see here how we can eat our proteins, how you can prepare them. They need to be lean, and then it shows you the portions. All right. So as far as crackers and let's see if I remember. So for grains, you guys heard from Nancy. Kind of hurts my heart about the gluten, but it's true, you all. I've had to learn this. There are some foods that gluten is naturally occurring, right? In like bread and grains. That's what gives it that chew. That's what gives it that texture. That's what gives it that yumminess. You heard Nancy say some foods have gluten added to them to taste better. I had no idea. For example, ice cream. You think just regular ice cream is just what, fresh cream or milk and sugar and vanilla? But if you look, they add gluten to ice cream so that it doesn't melt as fast. So you have that, like, when you eat ice cream and you get that, like, almost like that cheese pull or whatever, that's the gluten that they've added to ice cream. And you're like, doggone it, I can't get away from this stuff. And this was a huge thing for me. Like with sugar, a lot of us think, well, I don't really eat sweets. But then when you notice that there's sugar added to your spaghetti sauce, there's so much sugar in the beverages you drink, even if they don't taste sweet sometimes. A lot of this stuff is everywhere, and then it's just wreaking havoc on your body. So, little changes that I've made have made a huge difference if you're consistent. So, just sharing that with you all. So, what can I have for grains? So, I have to, for me, she said, not everybody is gluten sensitive, but I am sensitive. So, you see, if it's highlighted, that means I have a severe reaction. So, you guys see me eating the Crunchmaster crackers. Those I think are like rice crackers. And look, I can have 16 of them. It's so funny. Yes, I will count them out. You often see me eating the Blue Diamond nut thin crackers. I'll eat those, sometimes put some goat's cheese on them, sometimes crush them up and make them like a breading for, fish or chicken like that. Um, and then the other thing, you guys have seen me use the Mary's Gone crackers. You saw me use these, crush them up for like a graham cracker crust or rice crackers. I can have that. That's good to know. Sometimes I need to review this from time to time. I'm not eating flaxseed crackers. Nothing against it, but I just don't like it. But yeah, you see highlighted yellow, I can't have the gluten. But you notice this right here. Look at the Blue Diamond. This Blue Diamond comes in different flavors. I can have almond pecan hazelnut or the artisan flavor, but I can't have cheddar and you can't have ranch. Why is that? This may be like kind of obvious to you all, but did you know there's dairy in ranch dressing? That buttermilk stuff? And you think, oh, I don't eat dairy, but we're dunking our chicken wings in ranch dressing. I've done it, y'all. I've been there. And so you're getting that dairy into your system if dairy is a sensitivity for you and you have no idea that you're consuming it. What does Mona say? I feel like I'm always doing. Oh, yeah, we're always doing. All right, let's see what else we got here and then we'll wrap up, you guys. All right. So what else am I sensitive to? I'm just showing you guys some of the test results for me. So you'll see here, dairy, all. Well, isn't that disappointing? For the cheese lover in me, I am highly sensitive to all dairy. So when you guys see me working with almond milk products, plant-based yogurts, coconut milk cream, different whipped creams, I have been on a hunt for different substitutes that I can eat. And that's what you find on my channel 99% of the time, because I have to change the way I eat for the rest of my life or else the weight will come back. And so, yeah, you see it right there. All dairy, all gluten and wheat. So all those bread and yeast rolls and, all that stuff that I love, I can't have it. Or, if I do have it, I'm going to feel it. And then interestingly enough, like the vitamin D and the water, sometimes people ask about that. Like, what the heck? And if maybe we'll talk about this next time Nancy comes, and let me know if you guys want her to come back and what you want to talk about if she comes back. She talked about absorption. I am not a doctor, but when she tests your cheek swab for food and your hair sample, because like she said, your hair will tell you over time what's in your system. So when she takes not a whole lot, just a few strands of hair, and tests it, it will show what your body is processing and what is not being absorbed. So if you're, taking a lot of supplements and things aren't getting better, your test results might show, yeah, you're not absorbing this. It's just passing through you. So apparently for me, vitamin D, I was having an issue with or I'm sensitive to. And so I had to change to like a liquid vitamin D. And then the last one is water. Oh, here it is. The last one, water. Like, how the heck are you sensitive to water? what that means. And I asked her, and we'll wrap up there. I won't go into the hormones and stuff. Remember, you guys, she told me I have to drink alkaline water. I was drinking water, 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 water. I would go into her office, I would do the little test, and she was like, "You need to drink more water." I'm like, "I'm drinking water, alkaline water." Something about my body, like I needed more alkaline water to be able to absorb the water that I was drinking. So every day you guys see me put those alkaline drops in that I got from Amazon that I tell you about. I started putting that in every beverage: water, tea, coffee, water, tea, coffee, water, tea, coffee. And the next time I went in, she was like, "Water looks great." I was like, hallelujah. Okay, you guys, what does Mona say? The great thing about knowing and applying this info to our life is that we can become creative and empowered through our ability to see it as an opportunity, as a strength versus limits being placed on us. Mona, you hit the nail on the head. You all, if you don't change anything in your eating, you are still welcome here. I love to eat. I still cook for the family. But for me, who's always had a weight problem that started to turn into a health problem, I needed to do something. I would go every year to the doctor for my physical. Like Nancy said, the weight was ticking up. We would have the conversation about BMI. I know, kick the can down the road. The next year I go in for my annual, weight has ticked up, have the conversation of BMI. I know. One year I went up, and not only had the weight ticked up, when they drew my blood, you're now pre-diabetic. Your cholesterol is borderline and your blood pressure is elevated. That's when I said, okay, this is not fun and games anymore. I have to do something. So that was my motivation, and I share it with you all. But like Mona said here, the creativity, I have turned something that could be, what did they say? Turn your frown upside down. I'm dating myself, but I've turned something into, you can't have that, into, like Nancy said, not yet. But with what you can have, you guys see, I scour social media and I come up with all these recipes to enjoy what I can have. Victoria used to grow food in your backyard. Yeah, it's a labor of love. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. We are at 2 hours, so I like to keep my streams around 2 hours. Thank you so much, Wilbert, our stream sponsor, for the $2.01 super chat. Honestly, you all, I am so grateful to be able to share this with you. My channel is only 9 months old. You guys can watch for free, like for free, share, subscribe. What is it? What is it? 10 plus sounds made for me. You can do all of that for free. And I appreciate it so, so much. But when you go above and beyond, it really encourages me to keep going. I believe that, we can all get better, whatever your issue is: weight loss, weight gain, or just feeling better. So I really hope this was helpful. Um, if you guys want to see Nancy back, when do you think would be a good time? Maybe in January, or, in February, after everybody has started their New Year's resolutions. Um, but yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, sharing it with you all. Um, if you are interested in starting your own YouTube channel, check the link in the description. I do have a course. Several of you all have taken my course on how to get monetized on YouTube. Um, Let me just be really transparent with you all. I asked Nancy to do this. She didn't charge me anything, and she is not paying me anything. This is just me taking time to share with you guys what I have done, and I'm so grateful that she gave us time to go through it. So, thank you all so much for being here and for helping the channel to grow. Okay, Mona says yes, bring her back at the top of the year when everybody's had your New Year's, your Christmas, your Hanukkah, your Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Absolutely. Yeah, Victoria, we started at 3:30. I know it was a little early, but that was the time she had available. So, everybody, enjoy your evening. Yes, thank you for watching the replay. Whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay, start thinking now. If we're going to bring Nancy back, I've already ordered a test kit for my mom. If you want to get yourself tested, I've given you guys a resource for the Everly Well. You can do the finger stick and mail it in, or call Nancy for your free consultation. And, maybe when she comes back in January, we can have some more specific questions. But until then, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Class is dismissed. Thank you all so much for being here. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. I will be cooking. Tomorrow is Thursday. What am I cooking? I don't know. When am I cooking it? I don't know. Maybe that steak and salad. I'll see you guys tomorrow.